Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so Skip, Shannon, let's get to it. Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from LA. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, guys.
You see Drum?
How are you doing?
You saw Drum. You saw it.
Even waiting to say that.
You saw Drum.
You know, I did see Drum. Could we see that? I gotta see him right now. I gotta see Okiki. Let me see it, please, please. Okiki. Andre the Giant, boom. He got posterized. He always wanted to be on a Laker poster, and now he is.
Skip, it's basketball.
What happened to the big penguin? He got posterized by Okiki, who's 6 feet 6 inches tall. What happened to him?
So Andre Drummond is the first big man to ever get dunked on.
His name is not Drummond, it's Rummond. There's no D in Drummond.
You saw what he did last night.
Way to go. Thank you for teeing me up for that.
You need to defend
Andre, go back to Cleveland. They need you.
No, we don't. No, they don't.
Yeah.
I have to say, that is a first. We're starting the show with a little Andre Drummond there. Okay, all right. Well done getting that out. But here's the situation, guys. It's getting messy in San Francisco, and we need to talk about it. The latest reports have confirmed that when the 49ers initially traded up to the 3rd overall pick, they had Mac Jones in mind. But according to Adam Schefter, after doing their due diligence on all of the quarterbacks in the draft, the gap between the candidates has shrunk. Meanwhile, another report has the Niners scouting department leaning towards Trey Lance, while Kyle Shanahan still prefers Mac Jones. Niners GM John Lynch told reporters yesterday that Shanahan would have final say on draft night. So, Shannon, what is going on here?
John Lynch confirmed what we already knew, Skip, that the final decision is going to come down to Kyle Shanahan. Skip, I told you, and you asked, said, well, why would they only move up to 3? I said, Skip, Kyle Shanahan feels that the other 3 quarterbacks, he can win with either one. His intel had told them that Lawrence was going 1 and Zach Wilson was going 2. So whomever, Trey Lance, Mac Jones, Justin Fields, they felt very comfortable. Now, it seems to me they've settled on 2. Now, I believe Kyle Shanahan loves Mac Jones. He reminds him of Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan was the 3rd pick in the draft, if I'm not mistaken, Skip, 2008. That's what he was. So Kyle feels very comfortable taking him. But there are a lot of people, it was reported that there was a split, that John Lynch liked a certain guy, Kyle Shanahan liked Mac Jones. It seems the scouting department and a lot of other people seem to be in John Lynch's corner. That Trey Lance, I think, Trey Lance has a little bit more upside than Mac Jones. But Kyle is like, you see the accuracy? You see how quick the ball comes out of his hands? I really like that in this West Coast system. So for me, Skip, it's going to come down, look, you do your due diligence. This is a franchise-altering decision. You gave up your 2022. You gave up your 2023 first-round draft pick. So this is a franchise-altering decision. You got to hit this one, Skip. You got to hit it. They believe with what they have, the way Kyle can dial up offense, they believe with the receivers that they have, the way they can run the football, if they just get solid quarterback play, they can get back to the Super Bowl again. So I'm not surprised that it's coming down to the last hour in them making this decision because, like I said, it's franchise-altering. But ultimately, you make me say right now, today, I believe Mac Jones is going to be that selection. I think what happened is that they went back, they said, okay, let's see. We see Mac Jones in a similar situation and running this offense at Alabama. Sarkisian picked up a lot of the things that I did while I was in Alabama, so I know what he can do. How about we give Trey Lance an opportunity to run some of these very plays? Hey, John Beck had him in Washington. Can you put this kid through some drills? So when we come back and take a look at him, he'll be familiar with some of the terminology. He'll be, familiarize himself with some of the throws and what we expect. And I think he went down there and I think he wowed him. Skip, because the offense that they ran at North Dakota State compared to what he's going to see, what he's going to run at San Francisco is night and day different. So Kyle wanted him to have an opportunity to make some of these throws. And so I think it's close. But at the end of the day, I don't know because this is Kyle, butt on the line, Skip. Scouting departments don't have win-loss records. GM don't have win-loss records. They go to the head coach. And ultimately, I do believe. Now, I say there's a 90% chance Mac Jones is that third selection. Only a 10% chance that it's Trey Lance.
Okay. So you have been obviously very close to Mike Shanahan, the father of Kyle. You sort of watched Kyle grow up around your locker room in Denver when you played for Mike Shanahan. And you're so close to the Shanahans that I've started calling you Shannon Shanahan. That's a lot of Shans going on, right?
It is.
I'm here to tell you that I'm sorry to inform you that the Shanahans look like they're running a ship of fools right now. It looks like absolute chaos in San Francisco because they've had too much time on their hands.
Yes.
That it's too bad that they couldn't have made this trade on draft night knowing they're going up for X or Y or Z.
Right.
But apparently they targeted Mac Jones, according to the great Adam Schefter. They targeted Mac Jones originally when they made this trade.
Yes.
As we talked about. They shocked the NFL world by trading up from 12 all the way to 3. Not to 2, but to 3.
Right.
So they're a little bit dependent upon what the Jets do at 2. Their intel better be right. And yet they traded next year's first and the next year's first to make that move up.
Yeah.
To target Mac Jones, who, by the way, nobody else is targeting high in this draft, I don't think. From my intel, from all the people I talk to, all the mock drafts, all the reading that I do, I think the Shanahans are the only ones targeting Mac Jones that high. In fact, if for whatever reason they opt off of Mac Jones, he is the candidate to fall in this draft.
Right.
He could fall to Belichick all the way down at 15, and yet I'm not even sure Belichick would take him at 15, so he could be a candidate to fall farther than 15th in my estimation.
Okay.
Well, if that happens, then the Shanahans look even more foolish because they paid so much to go up for a quarterback that I believe nobody else loved. Now, maybe to your point that he fits with them, what they want to do,
Correct.
that they love him for them.
Yes.
And that's fine. If you're sold on that and you're right about it, I'm great with that. But I'm not sure they're sold now because Adam Schefter says they were sold until they started doing their due diligence. And the harder they looked, the quicker the gap started closing between Mac Jones and all the other candidates. And now they're back to, and I don't think this is smoke screening or trying to send mixed signals. I think they're truly wrestling over, well, he's got this and he's got that and he's got this and he's got that. And a lot of the mocks still have Justin Fields going third to the 49ers. We've had other insiders like Michael Lombardi say there's no way Justin Fields is going third.
But Skip, if you listen to Kyle yesterday, he said, I felt very comfortable with any of the 5 quarterbacks.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying. That's what Adam is saying, is that they have finally said, throw them in a hat and pick one out and we'll take one, whoever it is.
Yes.
I got to tell you, that's pretty crazy at this stage of the draft. It's pretty crazy. We're what, two days away.
2 days.
Okay, so this is career life altering. I got it. You better nail this one.
Yep.
And I have told you from the start that I'm still not convinced the Jets are going to take Zach Wilson. I don't know where. That's a runaway internet train that makes little to no sense to me. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but where did it get engraved in stone that they're taking Zach Wilson? Why would they announce that like a month ago? Because it's been out there for a month that it's a done deal they're taking. I get Trevor Lawrence to Urban Meyer. I get that because he is, by all accounts, one of the all-time great picks at the top of the draft. I didn't like his attitude in the Sports Illustrated story, and that would give me grave concern about his motivation going forward, his desire, his lack of chip on shoulder or burning desire to win championships. But I can't argue with the choice of Trevor Lawrence at number 1 because it's like he was born to be the first pick in the draft, and we've thought that since he was in middle school, right? I've been reading about him since he was in middle school because he's 6'6", and he can move, and he's got a big arm, not a great arm, but a nice arm. Yes. Okay, so we get that. But where did Zach Wilson just get inked in for the Jets? I don't get that. So to your point, would I be shocked if they took Justin Fields, who is Mel Kiper's number 2 quarterback and has been from the start right behind Trevor Lawrence? I wouldn't be shocked by that. Would I be shocked if the Jets took Trey Lance? I wouldn't be shocked by it. Would you?
No, I think for me, Skip, it's a foregone conclusion.
Okay, why?
Because there's a reason why Zach Wilson keeps saying, I've talked to a lot of Jet quarterbacks.
Well, you said it once.
Yeah, but I'm saying, though, Skip, you don't do that. They've given. Skip. I feel very comfortable. I feel more comfortable that they're going to take him at 2 than I do the 49ers are going to take Mac Jones at 3. That's how confident I am. And
and you're basing it on just what, that he's called some Mark Sanchez.
No, Skip. But I think the thing is that when you hear some of the other guys, you hear the other draft guy at ESPN, and you hear a lot of guys. Zach Wilson, Todd McShay.
Yep.
Zach, he has a lot of Patrick Mahomes. He can make throws, the off-balance throws. He can do all of this.
Okay.
And remember, nobody thought Patrick Mahomes, only Andy Reid and Brett Veach thought so much of Patrick Mahomes that they moved from 27 to 10.
True. Okay.
And I'm not so sure, Skip, and you keep saying, well, why didn't they move up to 2? It seems to me that the Jets was unwilling to move off.
Well, I'm sure.
2.
Yeah.
So so if they thought they could get someone other than Zach Wilson at 2, I guarantee you they would have moved. But they don't feel comfortable that they can get Zach Wilson at 3, 4. So they're going to stay put. We know the Jags were not moving off Trevor Lawrence. So that was a no-go. So it seems to me as high as the 49ers could get was 3, and they felt very comfortable. Because I tell you, I know how his dad thinks. His dad says, I'll take who you don't want, and I'll go win with that. So they say of the 3 quarterbacks that's going to be left, 2 we love, and I feel very comfortable with Trey Lance or Mac Jones.
By the way, father, as in Mike Shanahan, once upon a time traded up to 10th in the draft to take my guy Jay Cutler from Vanderbilt University, and you do not love Jay Cutler.
I did not like Jay Cutler. I didn't like his attitude. I didn't think football was the most. He was another guy. Football wasn't that important to him.
Okay, so we can debate that all another day, or maybe never, because he's out of sight and out of mind. But the point is, Mike did trade up to take him, and I applauded him for that because I watched a whole lot of Jay Cutler, especially his junior year at Vanderbilt. His senior year, he was the SEC Player of the Year.
Right.
But the point is, there are going to be swings and misses because 42% of all quarterbacks taken in the first round don't make it to their second contract with the team that took them.
Correct.
Think about that. So almost half are swings and misses.
Yes.
Okay, so
big misses.
Of these 5, you know and I know right now the math, 2.5. Let's even just go to 2.
2, okay.
2 will be big swings and big misses.
Yes.
Now, maybe the Shanahans are so genius that they can take anybody and make him a success in their offense, right? Okay.
Let me ask you a question, Skip. Which one of these quarterbacks, of these 3 quarterbacks that will be left, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, or Mac Jones, you think has more upside, has more ability than Jimmy G?
Oh, than Jimmy G?
Yeah.
Well, Trey Lance for a fact.
Okay.
But I might say several. Who we have left? Now, we got Justin Fields.
Justin Fields, Mac Jones,
I would take Justin Fields over Jimmy G. Who's the next one?
Mac Jones.
I think he's more poised and quicker-minded than Jimmy G is. Jimmy G gets blockheaded sometimes. He's got big talent. He's got arm talent.
Right.
He's got athletic ability.
Right.
But he freezes in big moments and comes apart. He can unravel when you least expect it.
And although the collegiate level is not the NFL level, Skip, Mac Jones has been in big-time games, SEC championship, college football playoff, national championship game, the Iron Bowl. So when you play in those big games, and I don't know if Jimmy G had those big games at the level that he played at, that bodes well for you. Tom Brady was able to. That Orange Bowl, Skip, that he played Alabama, that was a big time. You play in the Michigan rivalry. You know, you play in big time games, you get comfortable being in situations like that, as opposed to never having been in the. Now, not to say that you can't, Jordan, in that national championship game. So him hitting big shots in big moments in the NBA Finals, that shouldn't surprise anyone.
Yep, I agree. So I'm still trying to figure out, and again, I love John Lynch. Knew him when he worked here. Have nothing but the highest respect for him as a player and an executive. But you're telling me Kyle Shanahan has to have final say here, and I'm assuming that's true.
Wouldn't you want Kyle to have final say? He's calling the plays. He's a quarterback guru. Wouldn't you on a player of this magnitude? Now, maybe another player, Skip, maybe an offensive lineman, maybe a defensive lineman, maybe there's more heads coming together. But in a situation like this, the guy that's going to call the plays, the guy that knows that position probably better than John Lynch, you would think you would concede and says, okay, take it away, bro.
Kyle handpicked John Lynch
to
be his right-hand man.
Correct.
So I'm going to assume it's going to fall on Kyle to step away from all the swirling madness inside that building and say, no, I think I got to do this because my gut tells me it's this guy.
He gonna step over in the building. He gonna go to his dad's office.
Okay.
He's like, okay, Dad.
Okay, which way do we go? Maybe it's mine.
What do you think? What do you think, Dad?
Okay, so I saw another interview that Adam Schefter did with John Lynch, and John pointed out, listen to these numbers. We have attended as a staff 176 college games and practices. We have conducted 400 Zoom calls. We have interviewed 600 players. We have attended 128 separate pro days, says John Lynch, about all the homework they've done for this draft. Well, obviously, the focus of that homework it fell on these 4 quarterbacks, right? The 4 possibilities. Well, maybe 3,
right.
but I think they looked hard at Zach Wilson just in case, because you have to.
Right.
You better be ready in case he falls to you.
You will skip. You're that high. You do your due diligence. I talked to Ozzie Newsome, who's the general manager for a long time at Baltimore. I said, so what do you think about Andrew Luck? He said, man, I ain't scouting no Andrew Luck. Hell, he gonna be the number 1 pick. I'm picking 29. I ain't got no chance of getting Andrew Luck. So why am I wasting my time scouting a guy like that? But when you're that high, Skip, you do your homework on a lot of different players because, like you said, you never know who's going to slip. But I think their intel told them Lawrence is going 1, Zach Wilson is going 2. We feel comfortable. Mac Jones or Trey Lance. Now, you believe there's still an outside shot that Justin Fields could go possibly 3.
A bunch of the mocks have Justin Fields going.
Well, Fox Bet still has him as the favorite, Mac Jones. I think he's minus 120, 140.
Well, I saw some of the other sites last night they had Justin Fields coming up and Trey Lance coming up fast.
And if I had some guts, ain't enough money on Mac Jones. I bet it. I bet Mac. I would bet Mac.
So here's what I don't understand: if you paid all that freight to move up there, that king's ransom to move up there, if you were really shrewd about it, you'd sit at 12 and keep your mouth shut, and you would hope that Mac Jones just fell to you at 12, because I think there's high possibility nobody's going to take Mac Jones as high as you're thinking up in there.
But even if they don't, Skip, if you're sitting at 12, what if somebody moves up to come get him at 9 or 10?
You just don't know, but you'd have to have the right intel. And I just think nobody's going to take Mac Jones except for San Francisco.
I think the thing is that to take that element out of it, you hoping someone falls to you. You take that element out of it, you seize the moment, you put that into your own hand. Says, you know what? We're going to zoom up to number 3. We feel comfortable. Because, and I've said this, of the 5 quarterbacks, they probably got very, very similar grades. Now, Trevor Lawrence might be rated higher, but they feel comfortable with any of the 5. And it lets me know that even though 1 and 2 will be spoken for, they're like, hell, the other 3, we can win with those too. They're equal. Mac Jones is not the athlete that Trey Lance and Justin Fields. He can't run nearly as fast. But as far as throwing the football, just purely arm talent. And I read somewhere, Skip said, if you get over the look, Mac Jones is a hell of a football player. It's the same thing that got people off Tom Brady. He looked a certain way. He ran a certain way. But what about how did he throw the football? You still didn't tell me anything about that. He ain't running on his arms. Skip, he ain't got a bench press. So I understand. Give me a guy that's built like Tom Brady, built like Peyton Manning, as opposed to a guy that looks like he's a bodybuilder. Because we've seen a lot of those guys that look the part and can't play dead in a horror movie.
I think Mac Jones is closer to Kirk Cousins than to Tom Brady. Just gut feeling.
No. I'm saying from built, the way he's built. Because you look at his body, you're like, okay.
Okay, what I did see about Tom Brady, and I'm not saying that I saw that coming.
Right.
But I watched that whole Orange Bowl against Alabama. I think it was overtime.
Yeah.
And Brady lit them up and finally won the game. He was a pretty thrower of the football. It comes out beautifully. The motion is sweet to watch.
Right.
It's effortless. And it's not just textbook, it's got art form to me. It's the way we saw him hitting a baseball the other day. That looked like a real swing to me. That looked like a pretty baseball swing. So when he throws it, it doesn't look pretty to me, but it gets exactly where it's supposed to go on time, and always did for Alabama in every game he started, including the 3 the year before.
It's hard for me to say that there's somebody better thrower of the football in this draft if you watch Mac Jones at any point in time. At any point in time this season, did you ever think he would be the reason why they lost the game? You watched him against Ohio State. You watched him against Notre Dame. You watched him in the SEC championship against Florida. Skip, he was flawless. I don't know. Joe Burrow I still believe Joe Burrow statistically had the greatest college season for a quarterback ever. But boy, Mac Jones takes a backseat to no one with the way he threw the ball this year.
And I'm also not sure anyone has ever had better weapons than he's had.
Joe Burrow might have. You know, Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase.
It's arguable.
They're not slouches.
No, I got it. But Joe Burrow, to my eye test, looked like he threw it better than Mac Jones.
You think so?
That's just me.
Okay.
He just looks like a pretty good quarterback who was in a great system but made no mistakes. Meanwhile, Trey Lance, to me, I've been telling you this now for about 2 weeks on the show. He's the guy. I can't argue him above Trevor Lawrence, but I can argue him as the second best quarterback because I see it in the highlights. I see a huge arm. I see the biggest arm in this draft. I see huge athletic ability. I see huge running ability. And I saw a report that the 49ers are starting to consider him the smartest of the quarterbacks. And I get that. I'm taking that to my bank because that 1 year body of work that we have in 2019, 28 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. Zero?
Well, the thing that, knowing Kyle's dad, the thing that'll drive him craziest is turnovers.
Yep.
That's what rubbed his butt about Jimmy G. Not only could Jimmy G not stay healthy, Skip, he turned the ball over at an alarming rate. I mean, it was just ridiculous how much he turned the ball over. And Mac Jones is not turnover prone. I mean, you throw as many touchdowns as he throw with as fewer interceptions as he's thrown, and the ball comes out quick, the ball comes out accurately. In that system, they're going to be able to run the football, Skip. He's going to have a lot of easy throws, and that was the thing. Jimmy G had some easy throws, but there'll be time in a game that the throw won't be easy. You'll have to fit it into a tight window. You will need to throw guys open. More times than not, you throw guys open as opposed to guys getting open. And I believe, I believe all the guys can do that. But based on what I've seen over the course of the year, like I said, I only saw Trey Lance, I'm honest, one time, the national championship game, and he looked spectacular, and everybody was talking about him, Skip. I'm like, well, damn, he's just a redshirt freshman. Y'all think that highly of him? Can we see it put it together again? And then COVID hit. He played the one game, and then he opted out. But
I mean, they only played one game.
Yeah, but I think they're playing now. I think the FCS championship.
Right.
But he would have been playing anyway.
I'm on record. I'm with the 49ers scouting department.
Okay.
I would go Trey Lance because it's made to order. You still kept Jimmy G. You could still hang on to him for the 1 year that you would need to.
Right.
You would let him be the starter for as long as you thought he needed to start because Trey Lance obviously has come from a smaller level of
Who do you think is ready to, if we had to go plug him in tomorrow, who do you think is better to?
Obviously, number 10 in the red right there. Right? Yeah. That's the guy. If you want instant, but if you want ceiling, if you want long-term Super Bowl possibilities, I'm going Trey Lance.
What if over the next 48 hours somebody comes in and they make a trade for Jimmy G? Does that change it? Because now he's not going to be there. He's not going to be your bridge. Do you still take Trey Lance?
I know, but if you decide Trey Lance is your guy, you cannot trade Jimmy G. You got to hang on. Unless you just keep one of those other backups and say he's the
Mullins or CJ Beathard.
They were going with him.
Yeah.
They had to go with him last year.
Right.
So you could go that way. But I'm not sure anybody's going to knock their socks off for Jimmy G, except maybe that guy in Foxborough. And we'll talk about that in a couple of minutes.
Interesting. Oh, and Shannon had some very interesting quotes about Jimmy G, which we will address later.
No mercy.
Despite Aaron Rodgers saying his future with Green Bay is out of his control, the Packers GM gave a ringing endorsement of Rodgers. He told reporters yesterday, quote, "Aaron is our guy. He's going to be our quarterback for the foreseeable future. We're excited about the things we're going to try to accomplish here over the next couple of years." So, Shannon, how much longer will Aaron Rodgers be the Packers quarterback?
Well, consider Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a contract extension, and we know he wants that. They've redid a lot of guys' contract. Aaron Rodgers wasn't one of them. And hold on, wasn't it just the other day they said they don't talk about individual players?
Yeah.
The foreseeable future. Well, Kyle Shanahan just said we don't know what's going to happen on Sunday, and y'all talk about foreseeable future. You took a quarterback in the first round. That told Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers was Jordan Love 15 years ago, Skip. Do they realize that?
Yep.
That's what Aaron Rodgers was 15 years ago, Jordan Love. I don't know why they continuously talk about it, Skip. I don't know who they're trying to make feel good, but Aaron Rodgers says if I'm going to be your quarterback for the foreseeable future, this is what I need. I need X, Y, and Z. First of all, I need a contract extension. And I need you guys to stop drafting players that can't help us win right now.
Yep.
If you look at most teams, Skip, they draft a player. They're not drafting players that's going to help them, especially if you believe you are a contender. You go to the NFC Championship game. You go to the AFC Championship game. You're not drafting players that's going to help you 2-3 years from now. You're trying to get somebody that's going to help you get over the hump right now. Green Bay drafted a player that helped them do absolutely nothing. Aaron Rodgers, what are y'all doing? I know I played at a high level. I mean, the guy just threw for 48 touchdowns, 4 picks. Got to his second NFC Championship game. Normally, like I said, Skip, I remember it happened. 91, we got to the AFC Championship game, lost to Buffalo 10-7. First pick of the draft the next year, Dan Reed selects Tommy Maddox. Let's just say John Elway wasn't very thrilled with that. And we're going to leave it at that.
Okay.
I just don't get why I've heard their general manager, Green Bay general manager, and Mark Murphy, I've heard them talk more. They almost are cut from the Jerry Jones cloth. Because sometimes I think they like hearing themselves talk. It's not about you. Nobody want to hear from you. Nobody want to hear from Mark Murphy. They want to talk about that guy. And what can you do to help him? That's what did Tampa do, Skip? They had Mike Evans. They had Gronk. They had Cameron Braid. They had Chris Godwin. They went and got Antonio Brown. They ain't going to get no another quarterback. What the hell a quarterback going to do for me? I need somebody to go help me right now. You see what they did? They go get players on the defensive side of football that's going to help them right now. Aaron Rodgers said, get somebody that's going to help me right now instead of drafting for 2023 and 2024.
By the way, quick point of order on the statement you just made. Mark Murphy plus Gutekunst combined in the last season, they spoke 1/1,000,000th of the words that Jerry Jones spoke publicly. But I got it. I know your point, but it's not even in the same. It's not in the same universe with what
Jerry's a great orator, Skip. You know I did.
But they don't have their own radio gig.
No,
they don't. And they don't hold press conferences after every game.
No,
they can go on for like an hour
or talk to the team before the game.
They don't do that. Okay. Back to your man, Aaron Rodgers. It is clear to me that this was no ringing endorsement of Aaron Rodgers because when he says he's going to be our quarterback for the foreseeable future, to Packers management, foreseeable future is tomorrow.
Right.
That's it.
Yes.
Period. End of story. Because they still have preserved every potential out. They owe Aaron Rodgers 0 more guaranteed money. They have not redone a penny of it.
Right.
Which would help their salary cap, number one. It could be, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine.
Right.
But they don't want to scratch his back because they want to hold their options in the palms of their hands so that at any moment that they want to part ways with Aaron Rodgers, they will be capable of parting ways.
Well, they say, Aaron, you the one that caused us to itch. So why we want to scratch your back? Because you caused us to grief.
Okay. So they took Jordan Love because they were pretty much done with Aaron Rodgers after, not this is obviously 2 years ago.
Right.
That year they went 13-3 and shocked the world, but none of us read too much into 13-3 because we all thought it was an overrated 13-3. Even you thought that they were not that good of a team. And they went to San Francisco and just got bum rushed off that field there.
Right.
And Aaron Rodgers had a QBR in that game of 33 on a scale of 0 to 100. So by his standards, he stunk up that game.
He didn't play well.
Okay. And they did too. As a team, they just got annihilated by that, especially by the 49ers rushing attack. So here we came into this past season. They had drafted Jordan Love, and they were ready. I think they were chomping, ready to try to get Jordan Love in some games if the team started to teeter. And what happened? The team did not teeter because Aaron Rodgers had the greatest year of his career.
Right.
So I say kudos to him. I tip my cap that I'm not wearing right now to Aaron Rodgers because that was an answer. That was a response.
Yes.
That was a Hall of Fame response to a guy getting drafted to sit behind you that you buried on the depth chart because you had a runaway MVP season.
Correct.
And I honor that. I am in awe of how he played last year. Until the game. And the game was he finally got a home NFC Championship game on the frozen tundra at Lambeau Field. They were, I'm not going to say prohibited, but they were heavily favored to win that game.
They were 4-point favorite, 4 or 5.
Yeah, but it was their game. And he was very confident all week talking about, my dream finally came true. I got my game. And then we got to the fourth quarter, and you know the rest of the story. In that fourth quarter, he was 4 of 11 for 54 yards. Not terrible, but the sequence that changed life in Green Bay that they're still gnashing teeth about was, with 2:22 left, they get it 1st and goal at the 8-yard line. And you know what happens? He missed Lazard. He was the intended. I don't know who the ball was to on first down, but it was just some pass that went to nobody. And then he tried Devontae. And his young head coach said, I think I'm out here. So here are these throws. This is the 2nd and goal. And he missed Devontae in the back. And this is the one where you thought he should have just kept on keeping on. He's got a shot. He's got a shot. He'd have to outrun JPP to the goal line. Yeah. And you thought he could. It would have been close. Yes. It might have been a collision, but he had a shot. Yes. And then he forced a throw across his body to Devontae, who was just snuffed at the goal line. Right. He was just completely suffocated, and it didn't work. And his coach gave up on him on fourth and goal from the 8 and just said, I'm out, I'm taking the field goal. And at that time, the score was 31-23, so that made it 31-26. They give the ball back to Brady, and that was the end of that game. So they lost 31-26. And I think that is still sticking in the craw of Packers management, because that dropped Aaron to 1-4 in championship games.
Skip, I think the thing that makes them look worse is that they took a quarterback, and the quarterback that you want to replace won the MVP. Now, here's the thing. If you trade Jordan Love, you will admit that you made a mistake. But here's the thing. What's the value? No one has seen him play. Nobody knows if he's any good. Skip, who's to say that he was going to be a first-round pick? Because he was falling. A lot of people thought he was going to go top 10 and top 15. He was sliding down. He was almost out of he was at the bottom of the first.
He was the Trey Lance of last year's draft.
Right. And so he was sliding. Green Bay came up to get him at 26. So there's no guarantee that you could have just sat there and he fell in your lap. But my thing is that quarterbacks look at it, how can you help us win? Brady says, I'm willing to take pay cuts, but only if you're willing to surround me with people that can help me win right now. Brady was never worried about tomorrow. He was never worried, can you help me win today? Coach Belichick, Skip, and he didn't do a great job of drafting the greatest of players, but he always went into the free agent market. He got him a Wes Welker. He got him a Danny Amendola. He got him a Randy Moss. You look at the defensive guys that he signed year after year. So he was like, I'm not trying to build. And I think that's the thing that I love the best about Coach Belichick. Coach Belichick will admit he made a mistake. He ain't trying, well, we're going to figure it out. We'll find a place for him to play. Coach Belichick, not on my watch. I made a mistake with these two tight ends I drafted last year in the 3rd round, Skip. Let me go get me some guys that can play football. I made a mistake with the wide receiver that I took in the 1st round 2 years ago. Man, let me go get me a wide receiver.
He overpaid for all 4 of those guys you're talking about, to me, especially 3 of them, the 2 tight ends for sure, but at least he plugged holes.
Sometimes, Skip, you have to overpay for mistakes that you made.
I got it.
He made them.
He did. Okay, so right now, because Aaron Rodgers won the MVP, he is holding them hostage, and they feel like they're being held hostage. And then he rubs their nose in it this offseason by campaigning openly.
This is Jeopardy.
That is correct. He is campaigning to become the permanent host of Jeopardy. Right. And he says, well, I've done the math on the days I put in Green Bay, which I'm sure they're like, you're punching the clock. You're actually counting the days that you're going to give us.
Count them.
You know, and it only takes 46 days a year to tape. How many would you tape a day? 2 or 3 a day, or whatever it is.
I think you said 46.
46 total days.
Yeah. So you're doing what? Somewhere between 3 to 5 a day?
Okay, but they would like you to be focused on getting ready for the next season. You know, they would like you to be all in on being the Packers franchise.
I am all in, but y'all bull jiving. Y'all the one that got me. Y'all can get rid of me, and it won't really cost you but a couple of $1 million. So I need you guys all in. Skip, the same thing with Tony Romo. Tony Romo said, I can come back and be a backup. I might go get a starter. Or you know what? I can talk a lot longer than I can play football. Aaron Rodgers like, hold on. Y'all bull jiving. Let's just say I play another 3 to 5 years. This could be a 20-year commitment at 8 figures.
Okay, but what always drove me the craziest about Tony Romo in the offseason?
He tried to play golf.
He would try to qualify for the U.S. Open. It's impossibly hard.
Yeah,
it takes so much time. it takes so much practice. It takes so many practice rounds to get your game in that kind of shape. And he's got golf talent as we continue to see.
He missed the cut by 11. He missed the cut. He can't make no cut. That's what they do.
Played in the Corn Ferry.
Yeah, you saw it. Even after the eagle.
He eagled the first hole he played. Yeah, and chipped in on a par 5.
And was, 15, 16 strokes behind.
Okay, well, it's like Steph Curry. He tries to play in these events, and you're just not good. You're really good by my standards, but you're not good by their standards.
You saw Phil Mickelson and Charles Barkley beat the brakes off Steph and Peyton.
Okay, but Steph played really well in that.
Yeah,
I thought I was impressed.
He ain't no pro.
No, he's not a pro.
That's just like somebody off the street. Oh, he can really shoot. He can't shoot like Steph Curry.
Okay, I got it. But right now, Aaron is driving them crazy because they say we need more bang for our big bucks with the quarterback because he's 7-8 in the postseason since that long ago, far away.
Well, he said. Well, everybody said, "Hold on. Do you remember what your season was like between Bart Starr and Brett Favre? Do you remember what that was like? Do you want to go back to that? Because you was named Title Town and you wasn't even close to winning a title in those years. Okay. So that's 20 plus years between Bart Starr and Brett Favre. Are you trying to really go back to that? Do you really believe?
Well, they feel like they are back to that because it's been 10 years since they saw a Super Bowl. And they did win it, but he's been to one and won one.
But at least they're in the mix. You got to be in the mix. They were not in the mix for those 20 plus years before they got Brett Favre.
Yep. I think they want out from under Aaron Rodgers, and they're waiting for him to fail.
Well,
trade him. Why you just don't trade him, Skip? You got your quarterback. Trade him. I would trade Aaron Rodgers.
I'd be frustrated. Skip, I don't know if you're going to feel great about this, but I think Jeopardy ratings were also up.
Up 14%. I wasn't going to say anything about that. 14.
Well,
and you know what?
Rodgers.
He is no Anderson Cooper as a guest host.
There you go.
Anderson Cooper is really good.
If only we had more minutes to
really,
debate
Skip
this
Bayless,
topic. I
really
feel like
man that has a talk show. You
put it out there.
That's the point.
Not a fan as a host or on the football field in this. In a lot of ways, no mercy. In 4 days, don't miss the return of former heavyweight champ Andy Ruiz as he takes on rugged veteran Chris Arreola. It all goes down Saturday live. Pay-per-view. Despite trading for Sam Darnold this offseason, rumors are now swirling that the Panthers could still pounce on a quarterback in the draft. The latest report is that a GM and a scout both have heard that Carolina could be in play to take a QB if one falls to them with the 8th pick. So Shannon, if one of the big 5 QBs is still there for Carolina in the first round, should they take one?
I wouldn't. I would try to upgrade my team. I believe Sam Darnold can be a quality quarterback with the weapons that he have. I would just try to get better. Maybe you go, like I said, if Kyle Pitts were to fall to 8, I would take Kyle Pitts.
Sure.
And pair him with DJ Moore and McCaffrey being back, Skip. I believe Sam Darnold will be better. Sam Darnold will have something that he's never had. He will have a number 1 running back. He'll have a number 1 receiver. He'll have weapons outside of him to help him make plays. I just believe Sam Darnold was never given the opportunity to succeed in New York. I believe he has an opportunity to succeed. Now, we know Matt Rule loves quarterback. Hell, and Skip, I know this might be an unpopular thing to say, and we don't know how this is going to roll out. But I still take my chances. I'll out for Houston right now. I'll give you a 2nd or 3rd round pick for Deshaun. And I roll the dice. Because if he gets suspended for a year, he's only 25, 26. I got him for a year. But unless it's a guy like that caliber, Skip, I'm not trading. No, I would not. I like DJ Moore. I like Robbie Anderson. Skip, he's 23. I mean, Sam Darnold is very, very young. I don't know why everybody just like, come on, who could have done better in New York with what they had than Sam Darnold? Do we believe Tom Brady could have gone and made them a contender? No, not with that talent. They don't have anything. They traded it all away. They let Robbie Anderson go. Skip, they gave Le'Veon Bell $30 million. And he washed. So I would not. Now, that's not to say they're not going to. Rule, hey, they said he was trying to, before all this broke about Deshaun, it seems like he was trying to put a package together to go get Deshaun Watson. But I believe Sam Darnold can play. I really do believe he's still got good football in him. He just needs to be in the right situation. I believe this is the right situation.
And as I told you before that draft, I do not believe Sam Darnold is the answer and will never be the answer. And I realize Carolina might just be smoke screening, trying to send signals out that we will take whichever quarterback falls to us, so that somebody might want to trade up and give them a king's ransom to move to 8, to take one of the falling quarterbacks. Right. But if I am Carolina and either Justin Fields or Trey Lance falls to me at number 8, I cannot make that pick quickly enough, because either of those kids will be better than Sam Darnold.
Okay.
I've seen more from both of them. And again, I only know Trey Lance from the highlights and the numbers. But I believe that both will be much better than Sam Darnold will ever be. Sam Darnold, to me, is one of those classic nice guy quarterbacks that everybody loves being around, that you'll always be frustrated by and looking to replace. I thought from all the time that I watched him at USC, he does not have a great feel for the game, a great command, a pocket presence and poise that you need to win at this level, that he will go a little deer in the headlights and he will come unglued. And I realize it's much easier to come unglued with the Jets than it would be for a good football team.
Right.
And they will be a much better football team around him. But I believe they were desperate enough that they didn't give a king's ransom for Sam Darnold.
6 this year and a 2 and a 4 next year.
It's okay. You can survive.
You can
live to tell about that.
You didn't give up 2 first-rounders.
No, but you wanted to make sure you got a good plan B, and he's a decent plan B right now. Again, is he better than Teddy Bridgewater? I don't think so. But again, that's what they want. They wanted to go in a new direction and sort of change their scenery.
Well, that means they're going to have to get rid of that. Means if they draft one of these guys, Skip, that means they're going to have to either release or trade Teddy Bridgewater, who they gave, 3 years at $60-something million?
They did.
So, but Skip, you look at the Jets. The Jets were 0-10 when Sam Darnold missed a game, and they had 0 offensive Pro Bowlers. Now, what quarterback is going to be able to thrive in a situation where he has 0, not an offensive lineman, not a running back, not a tight end or wide receiver, make the Pro Bowl? What quarterback can thrive in a situation like that?
Okay, fair point. But I first guessed this before the draft, and I think no matter what the situation would be, he'd still look like the same Sam Darnold.
So you believe Baker Mayfield would do so what would Baker Mayfield had he gone to the Jets? You believe he'd
be better than Sam Darnold?
They would make the playoffs?
Well, I don't know. Maybe.
Skip, you see all that talent. You see did Baker make the playoffs before they got all that talent?
When they had Robbie Anderson, they were pretty good.
And the Jets let him go.
Yep.
That lets you know, Skip, they let the best receiver go and got nothing for him.
Okay. But remember what Baker went through, 4 head coaches and 4 coordinators in his first 3 years in Cleveland. So at least he had some semblance of continuity last year. He had some credibility around him.
And then they went and gave Baker the best offensive line in football. They gave him the two best running back tandem in football. They gave him Jarvis Landry. They upgraded. They gave him Austin Hooper. Look at what they've done. And then on the defensive side,
unfortunately, they gave him Odell also.
Odell will be just fine. Odell, I need to be Odell age and try to get him up out of there. Because you keep trying to bash Odell, talk about Odell as the problem. Odell is not the problem.
He's the problem for Baker Mayfield.
That's okay.
Baker's life changed once Odell, and I'm knocking on wood for him. I don't wish it upon anybody, but once he went down, they went up.
I wish they could get him in Green Bay or Kansas City. We'll show you what to do with him.
Okay, well, show me.
We'll show you what to do with him.
I'll be waiting because I haven't seen it from him. Wherever he goes, trouble happens.
Yeah.
Problems happen.
Catches happen.
Yeah.
Touchdown tubs happen.
Yeah, he played in 1 playoff game on the frozen tundra for which he prepared
you keep digging
on
up
a
old
yacht.
Stuff.
He prepared on a yacht in South Beach.
Why you keep bringing up old stuff, Skip?
Well, it's not that old.
It is, though. Man, you know how long ago that's been?
How long
At least 3-4 years.
It's another one of Aaron's victories in the postseason where he got a gift.
I knew Andre was going to come back to Aaron. You had to come back to Aaron. If Odell hadn't done that, the Giants would have beat him.
Well, let me tell you, if Carolina, if somebody, it's like, thank you, God.
Right.
If Trey Lance lands in their lap, trust me, they're going to take him and keep him. They're not going to trade him.
Oh, Trey Lance?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Okay. But I'm saying you can't have Trey Lance, Sam Darnold, and Teddy Bridgewater.
You'll just figure it out. You just would. You just decide how you could get rid of one of the other two.
Right.
Okay.
That's a lot, Skip.
A lot of people love Sam Darnold before that draft, and they would still love it.
Right.
So you could move him again.
But I'm thinking, Skip, you're not keeping Teddy Bridgewater at $21 million as a backup.
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
So that means he would have to be the odd man out. I mean, but it's not like Sam Darnold's making chicken feed either. Even though he's still on a rookie contract, he's probably making, what, $7-8 million a year?
Yeah, and Sam Darnold would not be a happy camper if you suddenly told him, we traded for you to be our backup.
No.
Right?
Look here, I understand guys not being happy, but bruh, keep quiet. You're drawing a check.
Yep.
You wouldn't be in this situation if you just go, hey, when you get your opportunity, show them what you can do. That's all you got to do. Just show them what you can do, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
No mercy.
While discussing a potential Knicks-Nets playoff series, a friend and former teammate of LeBron, Richard Jefferson, warned Knicks fans about what they might be getting into. Jefferson said, quote, I even had LeBron James on my team, and I didn't want to see Kevin Durant. So, Shannon, is Jefferson saying KD is better than LeBron here?
No. KD also has Steph, Clay, and Draymond in 2017, which somehow Richard Jefferson failed to mention. Skip, everybody knows that Kevin Durant is a great player. He's probably regarded as the second best player, he or Steph, right behind LeBron in the 2010s. We know that. There's no denying Kevin Durant's talent. But Skip, there's a reason why the Warriors went out and got him. Because I think the thing that's going to get lost is just how good that Cavaliers team was that KD, them ended up beating in 5 games. And Steph, Clay, and Draymond, and Steve Kerr, and Bob Myers, and all those guys knew after they lost 3-1 in 2016, they were not going to beat LeBron and Kyrie again. They knew that. That is why they went and linked up with Kevin Durant. That's why they interrupted that man's vacation in the Hamptons. That's why they bet Draymond was in the parking lot crying with a towel on. He got me. He got me, KD. Call him K. K, he got me. What's going on, Draymond? Why you crying, man? He did it. We need you. So I'm not diminishing what KD is. I understand. But Skip, let me tell you something about the 2017 finals. LeBron James in the 2017 finals, he's the first guy to ever average a triple-double for the finals. You mentioned that game 3 in which they lost, Kevin Durant hit the shot. But LeBron had 39, 11, and 9 in that loss. In the closeout game in which they lost, the game 5, he was 41, 13, and 8. Now, Kevin Durant averaged 35, 8, and 5. In the game 3, which he hit that shot, he had 31, 9, and 4. Klay Thompson had 30. Steph Curry had 26. You see? In the closeout game of game 5, 39, 6, and 5 for KD. Steph Curry had 34. So if you just want to make it about KD, everybody knows. Check the resume. When they had comparable talent, LeBron had one other superstar, KD had one other superstar. And look at the record. And then look at KD's record at Warriors against LeBron once he got Clay and Steph and Draymond. So that's not what Richard Jefferson said. Richard Jefferson said, hey, yeah, I fear KD because I know what he represents. Everybody knows what he represents. But this notion that all of a sudden KD became invincible and he was better than LeBron, stop it. Just stop it.
And that's exactly what I'm going to say to everything you just said. Just stop it. Thank you, Richard Jefferson. He finally summed up what I've been trying to tell you for about 3 years on this show. Kevin Durant is the best player on the planet. All you need to know is that a man who played with LeBron, has been close to LeBron, has been many times out to dinner on the road with LeBron, Richard Jefferson, who's becoming one of the better analysts, game analysts and commentators in all of the media on pro basketball. He just summed it up for you. I had LeBron on my team, and I didn't want to see him coming because what's the translation? Because he's better than my guy LeBron. That's all you need to know. You scoffed and laughed at my tweet that we led the show with on Monday morning. It was off Kevin Durant's return on Sunday afternoon for the Nets. He'd missed another 3 games, and he comes back and just takes the game over. He made his first shot, and he just kept making shots the rest of the game. And I said, I don't know anybody can do that, including LeBron James. He's the best mid-range jump shooter in the league right now. He's one of the better three-point dagger shooters in the game right now. He is just an unstoppable force at 7 feet tall and a long 7 feet tall. And he can do whatever you want. He can rim protect. He can assist. He's averaging 5 assists that could be 10 if he really needed to, but they need him to be the primary scorer. And you keep summing it up for me. You keep making my case because you're right. In 2016, those 3 guys sat back and they said, we're not good enough to beat that team. That we had them down 3-1, and we could not hold them off. And you're right. Draymond went crying into the parking lot at Oracle and called K. And he needed K to save the day. And what is your analogy? What do you use? It was a Maserati. Okay, so Steph pulls the Ferrari. I never can get it right. There are 6 of one, half dozen of the other to me. But you say Ferrari, I'll give you Ferrari. And he pulls it up in the Hamptons to wherever Kevin was staying and said, hey, I'm going to get out of the driver's seat. I'm going to walk around the car and get in the passenger seat. You drive because we need you to beat them. And all he did was live up to the most pressure maybe anybody's ever had to live up to, because the NBA world was waiting for Kevin to fall on his face in that 2017
And guess what Kevin Durant said? I need y'all to beat him too, because I had you guys down 3-1 and I couldn't close the deal. So I just want you to tell me the time that players have linked up to go beat Kevin Durant. Name the teams that put their teams together to go beat Kevin Durant in OKC or beat him in Brooklyn. He wasn't satisfied with Kyrie. He had to go get James Harden. And you talk about the best player. I wish he might be.
He didn't go get James Harden. James fell into their lap.
No, Skip. Sean Mark said he asked Kevin Durant. He asked Kyrie Irving. So, because
but they weren't campaigning for James. They didn't say, we need James. They said, sure, we'll be great with James. See? Yeah,
but
we welcome him.
When LeBron says that, LeBron put the team together. Now, everything else is...
I never said that.
Yeah, you say it all the time.
I did not say that.
You just said the reason why all these... So why are these guys from Clutch, all these guys from Clutch on the Lakers? That's what you just said.
That's a whole nother issue.
There ain't no whole nother issue. Because you said...
He's now the GM of the Lakers. Way to go.
You see? So Kevin Durant is the GM of the Brooklyn Nets. Skip, you and I both know nobody general manager thinks Kevin Durant is better than LeBron. Nobody has put teams together.
Well, Richard Jefferson does, or he wouldn't have said that.
Skip.
That sums it up.
Skip, you see what happened? Now, you notice when I said in the Game 3 loss, LeBron was 39-11-9, and KD had his 31-9-4.
Shannon, all you need to know is that the shot of shots in 2017 was in LeBron's house and in LeBron's face. Could we see the dagger? I just got to see it one more time just to remind everybody. Here's the shot of shots. Game tied, and he goes right in LeBron's face. Boom. And he just hit a baseline jumper that got them back even. And here he goes. LeBron, he just walked right into a three, right in your mug.
Skip. LeBron had 39-11-9. He hit the shot.
Those are the shots. Who was the MVP of the series?
So what are we going to do about Steph and Clay combining for 56?
They needed this guy. He was the aircraft carrier. He took the whole series.
I'm not saying that they didn't need him, but the point of the matter is you keep saying he's the best. He linked up with a unanimous MVP. He linked up with Clay and Draymond.
Because they begged him to come and save them.
So did they not save him? You make it seem like he wasn't drowning. Remember, he had a 3-1 lead on the very team that came to look for him. So he couldn't swim either.
Okay, but what happened? What did I tell you? He decided he could not win games that needed to be won with Russell Westbrook as his I'm talking.
Go ahead.
As his primary decision maker. You know it and I know it. He said, I'm 10 years in. I guess I got to go join forces with them because they are begging me to come and I need my one ring. And he went and won 2 as the MVP in LeBron's house. He went back-to-back game 3s and took the game over.
So no one else asked for KD services. Only Golden State. So guess what? They begged him to come. He begged them to accept him.
No, he did not.
He did.
They flew all the way to the Hamptons out on Long Island.
Well, how the hell did they know where he was?
Well, I don't know. Through his agent? They called his agent.
So in other words, he told them where they was. He took the meeting. If you that guy, well, they needed Skip. Stop pretending like it was a one-way street. He needed them as much as they needed him.
What if I always told you about Steph Curry? Go look at what happens to Steph Curry in the biggest playoff games. He's not that guy. He shrinks. He plays smaller than he actually is.
Skip, go back and look at games 5, 6, and 7 when Kevin Durant had a 3-1 lead on Golden State in the Western Conference Finals. Stop pretending like...
Handicapped.
Oh, now he handicapped.
Well, who's the primary decision maker? Does Kevin bring the ball up the floor?
Now he handicapped.
Yep.
You see, you make every excuse in the world when Kevin Durant does not succeed in the playoffs. But then you give him all the credit. You make it seem like Steph Curry. Are you watching what Steph Curry is doing right now?
I don't really care what he's doing right now. Okay. Because I care about what happens in the postseason, and I dare you or anybody out there to go look at games 5, 6, and 7 of the 2016 finals and say, where is Steph Curry?
I said the same thing. Go look at Kevin Durant in the same Western Conference Final and say, where's Kevin Durant, especially Game 6. Go look at that. Go look at that. He had a 3-1 lead.
I told you what the problem is. Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook just broke the Wilt's record for all-time one-month triple-doubles.
Yeah.
Because he just is the all-time ball hog. He's just going to dribble it into oblivion.
But this is what I don't understand. I just need somebody, and people, I want you to chime in, Twitter. Russell Westbrook was the problem.
I don't need Twitter.
No, I need him to help me out with this one. Russell Westbrook wasn't the problem when they got a 3-1 lead. He only became the problem once they lost the 3-1 lead. Help me understand that. So Twitter, don't you chime in. Skip, baby, this is your point. So to get the 3-1 lead, Russ wasn't the problem. Only the problem afterwards.
All I care about is that Richard Jefferson, a close friend of LeBron, said, I didn't want to see him coming. I had LeBron, and I didn't want to see him coming.
Skip.
I hate to say this for Richard, but that road trip and podcast that he does with Allie and Channing Frye,
yeah.
I'm afraid LeBron's not going to be a guest on it anymore.
But Skip, that's what I don't understand. He's playing with three other Hall of Famers.
He took it over. They wouldn't have won without him.
Would he have won without them?
Well, what are you talking about?
What do you mean, what am I talking? Would Kevin Durant won 2017, 2018 NBA Finals if he was not on Golden State? That's what I'm asking you.
Okay, but that doesn't disqualify him from being the best player. Who was the MVP? Who did they beg to come? It was him. Come save us. That's all you need to. I've been trying to tell you. He's the best player on the planet. It's over. You got to accept it. You got to swallow it. Richard Jefferson just closed my case. Thank you.
So in other words, whoever wins Finals MVP is the best player. So Andre Iguodala was the best player in 2015 because he won Finals MVP. That's what you're saying.
He was the best player on that floor of those games against LeBron in his house.
Skip, stop it. Skip.
I mean, LeBron got outplayed by Andre Iguodala in the key game in the 2015 Finals, Game 4 at home. Go look it up.
Skip.
7 of 22.
LeBron James averaged 36, 13, and 9. And you said a man that averaged 17 points a game was better. Stop it, Skip. Don't do that.
Gotta move on.
I mean, come on. We got to be real with
Thank you, Richard Jefferson.
We don't have time to finish this one out.
No mercy.
Despite the glaring needs on the defensive side of the ball, the latest USA Today mock draft has the Cowboys taking Northwestern offensive lineman Rashawn Slater. This also comes after Stephen Jones told reporters that Tyron Smith, Lyle Collins, and Zach Martin are all healthy and look, quote, as good as we've seen them. So, Shannon, should the Cowboys take Slater with the 10th pick?
Skip, that's easy for Stephen Jones to say. Last I checked, are they playing football right now? Everybody should be healthy right now, considering Lyle Collins missed all of last year. Tyron Smith missed what? 11, 12, 13 games, Skip?
He missed all but 2. So those 2 guys played 2 total games.
So I'll hope they would be healthy at this point in the season.
Yep.
Again, if they're as healthy as what Stephen Jones is saying, an offensive lineman doesn't make any sense. Where are you going to play him at? Are you going to play him at guard? Now, I remember they did this with Jonathan Ogden. Baltimore selected him, I think, if I'm not mistaken, with the 4th or the 5th, early, I think the 4th pick.
Yep.
They played him at guard.
Yep.
They traded Tony Jones, who was the left tackle, to us. They moved him to left tackle, and Orlando Brown Sr. was the right tackle. So are you going to play Slater at a guard, and then when Tyron Smith graduates, you move him to the left tackle? Again... I don't know what it is, Skip. Jerry just love offense, doesn't he? Jerry just refused. Michael Parsons might be sitting there.
But if you were sitting in Jerry's chair, I believe Shannon Sharpe would take Rashawn Slater, because I think you would say, I cannot trust my left or my right tackle going forward.
Even if I can't trust them, I can't trust my defense.
Okay, but I think you would say, I got to protect my now highest paid quarterback investment in Dak Prescott. I better take the best available offensive lineman, and he would certainly qualify at the 10th spot.
I'm getting Michael Parsons, or I'm taking Pat Surtain the second.
Okay, how are you going to protect Dak?
How are you going to stop somebody? Stephen Jones told you they're healthy as they've been in a long time.
Okay.
You don't trust Stephen?
I trust me. I trust my eyes. And what I say from the start, I've been on this for like 6 months. I'm taking Patrick Surtain.
Okay.
Unless Kyle Pitts happened to fall, which is not going to happen.
See, there you go.
But if he fell to 10, I'm done. I'm taking him. I don't care.
Okay, so if Kyle Pitts and Pat Surtain are there at 10.
I'm taking Kyle Pitts. I told you that 2 months ago.
Then your head hard.
Yeah,
your
no,
head
it's
hard.
not.
Yes, it is.
And I will beat you with Kyle Pitts.
You need defense.
I don't care. I don't care. We'll just outscore you.
You tried that.
Yeah, we'll win games 70-69. That's what will happen.
Okay, keep on thinking you in college.
Look, I only know Rashawn Slater from one game that I watched him in, and it was in 2019 because he opted out last year at Northwestern.
Right.
But I happened to watch Northwestern versus the Ohio State because I was watching Chase Young, and this young man did a number on Chase Young all game long.
Yeah.
He just basically made him disappear. And he's not beastly. He's not the biggest. He's more of a... He's a little sleek for an offensive lineman. For me, he's more cut and ripped and has natural strength. But he goes 304 pounds at 6'4". But he's played some guard. He's played right tackle. He's played left tackle. Mel Kiper's got him going 13th, and Todd McShay's got him going 14th, so that wouldn't be too high. He would be the obvious pick right there. He'd been an instant starter. You could probably play him in one of those guard positions. And by the way, you don't trust Zach Martin's health either going forward because he seems to be hurt every other week.
Well, because I think the thing is, Skip, there have been a lot of collisions because you got to realize, Skip, this offensive line basically has been intact, especially with Zach Martin and Tyron Smith, since 2014 when they ran the ball down people's throat with DeMarco Murray, and they come back with Darren McFadden, and then they had those 3 years of Zeke running the football. So there have been a lot of collisions with this offensive line. They've never been they've kind of shifted away from that and become more pass-centric. But for the first 4 or 5 years of their career, Skip, they will smash mouth. And that takes its toll. And you see Tyron Smith starting to have more and more injuries. Keep him out for more and more significant time. We see Zach Martin starting to have these injuries. Keep him out for more significant amount of time. Lyle Collins missed the entire season. And he had a torn, if I'm not mistaken, a torn labrum in his hip. We don't really know how he's going to come back.
Okay, but I have a good feeling that they're all going to be okay next year.
Well, then you don't need...
I just do.
Well, then why you need Slater then?
I just said, you're the one who's been campaigning against me saying my line is a wreck.
No.
They're aging and injury prone. That's all you tell me.
I've been campaigning on you saying you're deep.
I thought you'd jump all over this and say, yes, I'm taking Rashawn Slater.
No, I've been campaigning against you, talking about your defense is terrible. And you tell me all the time, they gave up 300 yards at this team, and they gave up 2, and they gave up this and that. And every time we come out here, you want an offensive guy. You turn Jerry that got you convinced you need offense.
No.
You're not going to stop anybody.
No, I don't care. If you give me Kyle Pitts, I will beat you.
So now you don't care about stopping anybody. You just want to score a bunch of points.
Kyle Pitts can play safety, too.
Kyle Pitts ain't playing no safety. Here with your obsession with Kyle Pitts. You guys love offense.
He just want all the offensive guys.
Slater is as advertised, but either way, like at some point, you got to have defense as well to be successful. No mercy. He's back on top. A rookie card of the Kings sold for $5.2 million. Yes, I said $1 million. That's the most of any basketball card, a record previously held by a Luka Doncic card that sold earlier this year for $4.6 million. So, Shannon, were you the one who bought this? What was your reaction when you heard this?
You did go where he's supposed to be. Where he's supposed to be. And if I'm not mistaken, I think LeBron got 2 of these cards in his own possession.
Oh, well, maybe. Wait a second. Was he the bidder and the buyer of this card?
No, he got 2 of them.
The anonymous bidder?
Dude.
I think he was. I think you just admitted it publicly.
No, he already got 2. Why would he buy another one?
Well, just to drive up the price. Right? Make it look good.
I'm surprised. I mean, this time's the highest sale for a card ever. Mickey Mantle, 1952 rookie card went for $5.2 million. Skip, I don't know where these prices are going. I have no idea.
Well, I don't understand. Who would want to buy the card of a guy who's lost 6 finals? I mean, where would you go with that?
Don't do that, Skip.
How would you show that? I got the card of a guy who's lost 6 finals.
I got a card of a guy that's the GOAT. That's the greatest basketball player to ever live. And he signed it. And it's a 9.5 out of a possible 10. Mint State. That's what I got. Nah.
Well, Mickey Mantle won a whole bunch of World Series, and I was close with Mickey Mantle at the end of his life. He's a good friend of mine.
But here's the thing.
That's one that you want.
The Mickey Mantle card, they believe there are only 6 in existence at the condition of this card. So LeBron, there can't be many of them.
Well, congratulations, LeBron. You won your own auction.
They'll do this, Skip. Yep. And guess what? He going to get another one. He going to $10 million. He going to be the first $10 million card.
$5.2 million. You know what I would do with that? That is it for us. Undisputed is back at the same time tomorrow. tomorrow morning. The Herd is on now. Have a great day.